if you got a girl, don't mean no disrespect, but thoughts of you rule my world. I even dream of you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ruth,
And I'm China.
and welcome to Happy Hour Talks. So, today's discussion is the rent increase crisis we've been seeing in the United States, prices of insurance, and how basically the government punishes people for being poor or not having money. So, the reason why I wanted to have this conversation was because I went to the eye doctor, and I believe the correct term is like I don't know how to say that word. Do you, China? Optometrist.
Ophthalmologist, optometrist.
Yes. So I went there, and at the end, they gave me my bill. It wasn't too bad. It was around like $50. And I was just thinking to myself, the only reason why it was around like 50 was because I had insurance to cover it. But then I thought for the people who don't have insurance, this is probably like hundreds of dollars that they need to pay out of pocket. And I just didn't find it fair how, you know, I get to have this opportunity because I have insurance, and someone who can't afford or doesn't have a job right now has to pay more out of pocket just to receive the same luxury as other people. So, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I definitely agree. I know growing up, I had Medicaid, so I mean that helped. But once I got older and got a big girl job, it was like, oh, this costs a lot. And me, my first go around with picking health insurance at my employer, I just picked the lowest plan. But then when I went to the employer, it's like, or went to the optometrist, it was like, oh, you owe $70. I'm confused. I thought I had insurance and this is supposed to be helping, but I still owe $70. And that was considered cheap. So it's been really interesting growing up and getting a taste for just how expensive things are. I got to the point where I was like, I'm going for my exam and I will never get my frames here. So, we definitely use iBuy Direct. We use Zlul. I be on AliExpress getting frames, frames and lenses, because it just gets to the point where it's like, I don't want y'all choices aren't even good. And the frames don't be cute there. And then on top of that, it's just like, y'all are taxing me and I'm already paying enough every week, every pay period out of my check for this to be less expensive. And it's still this much. So, yeah.
And speaking of, I just want to thank you so much for giving me Zulol, the website to get my actual frames, because I just was so naive. I went to the eye doctor, and I was ready to get glasses from the actual place, and it came to $900. I said, pause it. I don't need it. Just give me my prescription and we can put it in like a Dollar Tree, Walmart frames. And it ended up working very well. But the fact that we have to finesse and maneuver necessities right now is kind of crazy.
It is. And one thing I started doing was whenever I would like age out of a prescription or whatever, I would round up my old glasses and take them back to the eye doctor, because I guess they donate the frames or the lenses to people that are in need. So just saying, for anyone out there, if you get tired of your glasses, if you're like me, someone who might buy 6 to 8 pair at a time because I just need the change, be ready to turn those in when you're done so they can maybe help someone else.
And on the topic of that, how we utilize one another to basically help with cost of living. So right now we are, I would say, in like an epidemic of rent increases, and we're accepting it. Rent increases like 100 plus dollars, even thousands of dollars for people each year living in the United States. And now we see more people getting into relationships and moving in, even if they're not ready to. People are moving back home with their family. People just can't afford to live alone. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Ooh, child, I've been thinking about that. My rent increase this time was probably like $50 more, so it's whatever. Kind of used to it at this point. It's better than it's been other years where it's like $100 more. I'm like, goodness gracious. But I was just thinking about that, how convenient it would be to have a partner that I'm living with and splitting costs with. You hear a lot about like the dual income, no kids, the dinks. And I'm like, that seems like a lovely life to live. But of course, the utilities would go up because another person is there or whatever. But I don't know. It's, you should not be moving in if you're not ready, because you never know somebody until you live with them. But at the same time, I'm like, goodness, that would be nice to be splitting bills.
But here's the thing on that, and I completely agree with you. But before, I feel like people were always moving in together and getting married for transactional purposes. But the fact that now it's more like we can be roommates rather than like, I love you kind of stuff I'm not into that.
It's so sad because that's one of the things as we're getting older that we want to have is that independence. I can't wait to be out on my own, doing my own thing. And now we're at a point where it's like we have to jeopardize that, or kind of see where does that go on our scale of importance, because we can't afford it, you know?
And it's sad because we're told if you go to college, you're going to make a bunch of money, you can get a house, you can get a car, support yourself. And we have done that. Many people have done that, but we're still not where we want to be. And it's just right now, things are too expensive and it's not normal. I just want to clarify that we're walking around, people are complaining about it, but like we have normalized the amount of things we're paying for, like the cost of living right now. We have normalized it.
And it's ridiculous because, we hear these constant dialogues about how comparing the cost of rent 20 years ago, where it's at $600, now it's $1,200. And the minimum wage 20 years ago was $7. And it's still $7.25. So it's just like nothing is really improving. And the constant question is, what does it take? What needs to happen? Different states are going to have different approaches when it comes to what they can do to raise that wage, or just like encourage employers to give us better living expenses. But it's just crazy. I was thinking about inflation. Someone made a great point that even if the inflation rate goes back to like a normal rate, it doesn't mean that things are going to be at the cost that they were before pandemic. So I'm like, what's the out? Where is our out? We need an out.
No, for sure. And you made a very good point earlier about basically getting married or partnering up with someone. Do you think single people are sometimes punished in society for being single?
We are definitely, of course, my number one thing, I think about taxes. Taxes were a joke this year. And I think there's some conversation that maybe it was like the tax breaks that Trump did, I don't know, in 2019 or 2018 or whatever, but taxes were a joke. But I'm like, they've sort of kind of always been a joke. Not having a dependent to claim, only making a certain amount, but even for me, I've always had like a goal salary, but like even when you get to that goal salary, it's still like laughable when you're doing your taxes. So I do feel like we get penalized, but there's other areas where we probably definitely get penalized too. I don't know, when it comes to rent or certain things that we may or may not be approved of because we live on our own or we don't have kids, or
No, for sure. And I love not having children right now. We talk about like just living our best lives. But when it comes to this time, like February-ish, when tax season is upon us, I hear my friends talking about how look, they're gonna get thousands because they have kids and stuff. And I'm like, let me just claim one of your kids.
it's like it must be nice. It must be nice.
Okay. But and what's crazy is though, they take so much money out of our paychecks monthly. So you would think we're gonna get a bunch back. We do not see that money ever again. Ever.
For real. And they keep talking about Social Security. This is, you know what I'm saying? But then you hear, oh, we're only, of what we're putting in, we're only getting 60 to 70% back when we finally get the age to draw Social Security. What the hell? So where's my other 30%? What are y'all doing with it? Is that paying for people's Social Security now? Is that going towards the roads? What does it get invested in? I need to know. I need to know more. Where my
Put
money?
me on the roads because it's looking very bumpy right now. But I met with someone last week just to talk about some financial things of mine. And he was basically upfront with me. He was just like, Ruth, we don't know if your age group will have like, I believe, Social Security when you're 65. So just don't depend on that. And I was like, okay, like
That's what a cousin was telling me, girl. You better make sure. I've already like accepted the fact I'm not getting Social Security, so they were like encouraging me to increase the contribution rate on my like 401k and stuff. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Y'all taking my money, but I'm not giving it back. This is theft. U.S. needs to be brought up on war crimes or something. This is theft. This is a war on the citizens.
no, for real. And we're laughing about it, but it's not funny at all. And I know our generation, I know some of us are not investing like how we need to be. So, like, what are we gonna do by the time we're like 40, trying to retire?
The people that are working in places that don't do 401k, or they're working part-time because they can't work full-time for whatever reason. I mean, I think about the people that are getting Social Security checks right now that are having to sell Avon and Mary Kay and work at the grocery store part-time because their Social Security still isn't cutting it. Shit is crazy.
And to think we're probably not going to get anything. So that's why we need to like start voicing our opinions now to ensure we have something. You know, either they stop taking a lot of our taxes so we can save that ourselves, or like we need to be guaranteed we're going to get that money back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really scary. Not only that, they're talking about raising the retirement age, right, to like 70 from 65. I'm like, then we're completely overlooking like the mental health aspect, that it's continuing to decline because the quality of life, we're having to work 40 plus hours a week just to survive. You know, we think that because medical innovations are increasing the life expectancy, that we're going to be here till 70, but we don't know just how much having to be worker bees, capitalism might force people, and might lower the life expectancy, because mental health is real and people literally get to the point to where they can't anymore. So, ciao.
Okay, so on this discussion, what can we do? I know they tell us to be involved in politics and elect the people that you want to, you know, change these things, but it's like we have, but we're not seeing changes. For example, I voted for our current president, thinking about, you know, student loan relief opportunities. It's now 2024, re-election is upon us, and nothing has happened. So it's just like you all want us to be so involved, speaking our minds, but nothing is really changing. What are your thoughts on that?
For sure. I think I saw just recently where maybe he was like, was it 120 billion or something like that, where he was supposed to be student loan forgiveness. But anyways, it's still not benefiting everyone. A lot of people have a lot of money in student loans. And I just think about the fact that we elect these presidents, but a lot of times it takes more than 4 years. Like, you know, and they hold that over our heads, that we need to elect them for another term. If Trump did 4 years messing up stuff, then it takes 4 years just undoing that. And then we need another 4 years for them to actually try to make things better. That doesn't always happen, you know?
You are preaching. I never thought about that. But also, it's like with our current government, there's so many things in place where one decision can be made quickly. Like, yes, they would try to make a decision and then it will be overturned by like another party. And I'm just like, nothing is getting solved out here.
It's like a constant tug of war, and it's just a stalemate every time. And that's what happens. Like sometimes you'll have the presidency flip over to another party, but then you have like the House and Senate, you know, are flipping over to whatever else. And so it just like nothing gets done. Like you said, nothing gets done. And so what we need to do is protest, stand outside the White House and throw tomatoes. But I don't know. I mean, not anarchy necessarily, but then again, like, what else can we do?
So there was something in the news that said, like, December of 2023, we were supposed to start repayments of our student loans, and because so many people did not, we were not penalized for it. So it's like if a mass number of people decide to not do something or do something, that impacts stuff. So I think we just need to agree as society and then move upon it.
That's true. But then they like to do other stuff to like checkmate us. So they might, turn off our phone service for the day and put us on SOS, or, I don't know, do something with the land or the environment. Like, it's always a checkmate. But you're definitely right. Us organizing, and it's not even like organizing. It's literally people didn't have it. So it didn't get done.
No facts. Like, what do y'all want us to do? Like, we're confused.
What you gonna do? It's just like when people are saying, I guess they were thinking about like drafting people to go to war. What if I don't want to go? Put me in jail. I don't care anymore.
No, and Gen Zs have that kind of attitude. So it's like at this point, there's no repercussions.
There's a lot of qualms and criticisms about Gen Zs and Zillennials, but I don't know. I think we're kind of eaten because I think we just don't care. We understand what it's like to invest a bunch in and still not get much out of it, especially Black people. We know what it's like to put a lot of work into something and it doesn't always end up how you want it. We know that we'll just be okay regardless, or we won't. What can we do? Let go and let God at that point, because what can we do?
Let go and let God at this point. Like, insanity. But I think that's all I have today. Do you have any other points you want us to cover?
I think that's all. I got a lot of thoughts, but I think that's all. We in hustle culture, and people saying we need to create other streams of income. It's like, baby, I'm just trying to survive at this 9 to 5. I'm not doing I would love to have another stream of income, or passive income, but guess what? I am too stressed right now to even give a little thought to that. So,
No, literally. And the other stream of income should be like just for play money, not like we need it. Like, come on. America, the land of the free. But is it?
Is it free-ish?
Oh my gosh, but I know a lot of people have the same viewpoints as us. So if you have any comments, please comment down below your thoughts and just let us know how you're surviving in this economy with our current politics and everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, that is it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will talk to you all later. Bye.